Okay, now, I've had 3 glasses of wine, so I thought it was a good idea to bring some notes. And I'll try not to move around too much. Now, I'm only really planning to bring a few things, but I want to brag about lots of things that you've brought with you today. I'm not going to give out any notes or share anything with you. If you want to find it, you're going to have to do some hard work. All you have to do is type that into Google, @TechnoTeacher, which is me. The Wallace and Gromit creator, Nick Park, used to go to our school, and Techno Trousers was one of the props in his film. So I took Techno Trousers and turned it into TechnoTeacher. My aim, well, the aims of computing at school is to educate, engage, and encourage. I want to add on to that. I want to excite and enthuse at the same time. So share some resources, get you involved, and then maybe you'll share your resources. Sorry if I'm talking too fast or for too long. You'll have to tell me when to shut up, because I've kissed a Blarney Stone, being a native Irishman. Now, what I really want to do is, when I'm finished, I want you to go, wow, I'd never thought of doing that. So you're going to use maybe what I'd use and then share it back or something like that. I don't know what I'm talking about, do I? Right, so I am Alan O'Donohoe, older known as TechnoTeacher. I teach and live in Preston, Lancashire, introducing computing into a secondary Catholic high school, like walking, cycling, sleeping in fields, and I've got a sketchbook online. If you want to find out a little bit more about me, there's something called Gravatar. You can create your own online presence. There's lots of other things that do the same thing. So I'm Gravatar TechnoTeacher. Okay. Now, this is one of the things I'm bringing tonight, which is a few weeks ago I did something a bit naughty. I decided to piggyback onto the Computing at School agenda, and I stole the logo from Computing at School and their mission, and I'm organising. This time next week we'll have finished. We will have had an event in Preston all about computing at school. I've invited a few people along. Somebody's going to talk about GCSE computing. Somebody's going to talk about A-level computing. There's a professor from the university in Preston who's been working with NASA. They've asked him to program a rocket that next year will be launched from Mexico. It's going to go up into outside the Earth's orbit to take photographs of the sun. And he's going to share a little bit about the programming challenges that he's been involved with. And then we've got a programmer, somebody who didn't do very well at school, such a failed all his exams, but he's got a very successful business now, creating retro games and software for teachers. So he's going to talk. Now, Preston, some of you probably don't even know where Preston is, let alone drive there on a Thursday afternoon. But we're sharing all this online, so it'll be streamed live, and you can watch videos afterwards. So that's the little bit I've brought along. Somebody was asking earlier, will we be able to watch these videos? Well, I was crafty. Just before you came in, I interviewed Leon on Audio Boo. And if you're on Twitter and you search for that, and you just look at my last post, you'll see that I've just interviewed Leon Sish, and you can find out all about where you can listen to these videos and watch them afterwards. So you've probably guessed that all my successes have been basically stealing other people's things and sharing them. So that's Audio Boo. Now, really what I wanted to do was, I wanted to tell you that Twitter is something that you should be using now. Not to tell us like what you've had for breakfast, or if you dropped your piece of toast on the floor and the butter landed on the floor, the other way around. Do that on Facebook. But Twitter, I think, has got a lot of potential to be the new CPD tool. As teachers, we've got lots of issues now to deal with. Things like rarely cover, where now it makes it difficult for teachers to get out of school. Things like private enterprises coming in and charging £400 or £500 to go to an event. Not this organisation, because everything's free at the moment, and it's the best way it should be. At the moment. So I really, really want you all to try and use Twitter. And I'm trying to make it easy, because I keep saying if you look for TechnoTeacher, you'll find that TechnoTeachers try to go out and do some of the work for you. And they're not special effects I'm using. That's just the sound off the keyboard. Now, let's see. My notes. So, And put your hands up, please. No, hang on, I haven't told you why. Oh, God. You're worse than the children at school. Put your hands up, please, if you like reading Sunday newspapers. Oh, Sunday newspapers, yeah. Keep them up. If you like reading Sunday newspapers and you get through to page 4 and there's something about technology or computing, keep your hands up. Oh, great. So put your hands down. Now, I don't want to take that pleasure away from you, so carry on reading your Sunday newspapers. But imagine having every minute of every day that page 4 that keeps changing all the time, and it's got stories that you want to read about the things you want to read that are telling you things that you want that cost you nothing. Well, that's what Twitter is, okay? So I'm going to do a whistle-stop tour now of Twitter, who you should be following. Now, has anybody heard of this chap, Simon Humphries? Legend has it that, you know, he used to be involved in music, but now computing is where it's at. Now, one thing we're going to do is we're going to help Simon later, because he's only got 67 followers at the moment. And one thing, if I achieve nothing else of my aims, one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to make that number go up to at least 68. You know?
At the end of the day, we should double it.
That would be a really good plan. So there's lots of statistics for these people that you follow, like how many things they've tweeted. Now, I think that I'm not very good at algorithms. That's why I've come here. But I think that there'll be a relationship that as the number of followers increase, I think the number of tweets will increase also. So the way we can show our support to Simon is by following him. Have I said something wrong? Oh, it's 68. Yeah, okay. Now, because I'm using a Microsoft product, it doesn't dynamically update the number of followers. Okay. Yeah, okay. But there's not just people. You might want to follow an organization, and yes, people do work for these organizations or volunteer. And this one, look, they've got 2,591 followers. It might be that maybe sometime tomorrow that number 67 might approach that number, but you can make it happen. Let's see. So that's something you might want to follow. Another organization that you might want to follow as well. And I did say before, I'm not going to give out notes. If you want to find out, sorry, there isn't a slide 0. If you want to follow any of these, just look at Techno Teacher and you can see, you'll find them all in there. And now, Nikki, is Nikki coming to this conference? Oh, what a shame. But you can get in touch with Nikki through Twitter as well, because what Nikki loves to do is Nikki loves to give out free stuff all the time, and she's creating schemes of work using Kodoo and Scratch and Greenfoot and Visual Basic and all of these sorts of things. But again, Nikki needs a bit more support, so she'll tweet more. Okay, so we'll shout out for Nikki later on. Okay, but all this stuff's there free, and Nikki won't tell you what she's had for breakfast or who she met at the bus stop or any of those sorts of things, because Nikki's using Twitter as a CPD tool. Do I need to shut up yet? 2 minutes. 2 minutes, okay. Graham Brown Martin. Well, Learning Without Frontiers. Has anybody heard of Learning Without Frontiers? 4 people have, and there's another 10 people who are too shy to tell me that they have. But you can find out about loads of things. You can listen to David Braben and Sir Ken Robinson and Kerry Leaf and all these sorts of people that Learning Without Frontiers. And Graham is really nice. He lets us know weeks in advance when these are happening, so you can sit at home and watch them online. George Rouse. Is George coming? Right. George is one of the people behind the GCSE Computing Award. Right. You might have felt sorry for this chap before. Look at how many followers George has got. So Simon, well done. Okay. But again, all these sorts of people, we need to encourage them to share more about what they're doing. It's fantastic to be able to come to somewhere that's free. I mean, I can tell people I've lectured at the University of Birmingham. I can add that to my CV. But it's so much better, rather than wait a year, you can share all these things online. Now, Tom Crick, has anybody heard of him? Okay, there's one person here who's heard of Tom Crick. That was a joke, sorry. Okay, it wasn't a very good joke. But there's loads of stuff happening in Wales, in Cardiff. You can find out about that. And there's Tom himself. He has a personal one and he has his professional one. This is a New York City publication. They need to take that date off. It says December, because that happened ages ago. But every day there's at least 5 things that they're sharing about what's happening on the other side of the water. And I don't mean in Ireland. And Mark Clarkson, he's there, okay? And while he's not there, you can find out what he's doing over there. Now, Mark likes to share things, judging by the number of tweets he's got, okay? What's that, an average, 10 a day or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah?
Bacon and sausages this morning.
Right, okay, sausages and what?
Bacon.
Right, and is that on your Facebook? Yeah? Okay, somebody tomorrow is going to be telling us about the importance of the Alan Turing year. And it is. And there's loads of stuff happening on there that you can be sharing with students and pupils. Have I finished? Yeah, okay. Well, there's loads more stuff in there, okay? But because I've not got time, do this thing. Go and look for Techno Teacher on Twitter, and you can listen to audio booze. I'm going to come around and interview some of you. I'm going to shove my phone in your face and say, would you mind speaking for a minute? And then other people can listen to it afterwards. Thank you very much. Okay.